So what's up, guys? John from Heavyset Tactical, also working at Survive Knives and helping them get everything back on track and punching through this backlog. Guys, what I'm here to do today, essentially, is shoot a review for the only one that we haven't yet, us anyway, which is the Elmax. This is the EDC 4 Green G10 Saber Grind Elmax variant. And guys, essentially there are plenty of reviews out there from Elmax, but I want to show you just how particularly ridiculous and useful that these smaller size belt knives are. So yeah, we're going to be thrashing on this thing. Somehow there's a car back in the park right now. We're going to be thrashing on this thing. And guys, I just want to show you how effective this tool is for the size and for the thickness. Super slicey behind the edge. Behind the edge thickness is at a minimal before it would be, you know, becoming a problem as far as stability. And guys, I'm telling you, this is one of those knives where we have tons of extras and it's not affecting getting the backlog done. And these are all built already. So guys, I really wanted to show this to you and come out and shoot a video today. So let's get started and let me show you how crazy guys end product survives our end product with the Elmax is. Because this knife for 220, 230 bucks, we're gonna have some discounts along the way this week to clear out all those extras and get them out of the way for newer and cooler things. Guys, this is a hell of a knife for just over 200 bucks. And when you compare it to what else is on the market for 200 bucks in this size range with this steel, I personally don't think it's even a close match. So let's dive in. So guys, John from Survive Knives here. I'm really hoping that you can hear me okay. I don't know if I'm too high to where you can see my face. Nothing going on up here that's that important, so we're gonna stay where the angle's at. What is important, I have some ridiculously rank and old dried out. Guys, sometimes when things are wet, they're a little easier to baton, a little more malleable, especially when you're getting into a knot like this one. This is a dried, hard piece of wood. And when you look at the overall size of the knife, this is a serious piece of wood. Not the thickest. I'm sure this thing could span a 6-inch log if I went one way then the other. I don't have a chainsaw. I don't have a 6-inch tree already down, and I'm somewhere where I don't feel comfortable lopping one down with my boy's axe. So we're gonna do some batoning here through this crazy piece of wood. But guys, just real quick, while I'm thinking about it, because you know my brain's always all over the place, this knife carries in such a way that it's always comfortable. And these clips, the Kydex bend loop clips that we provide, we're going to start having leather belt loop attachments, like a drop attachment for a leather belt loop. We're also going to be having Tech Lock compatible step ups, so that step up in the back can go to a leather loop, can go to a Tech Lock. These are fun things that are coming in the future. But for now, this makes sense to me because even if it ends up back a little far, I can turn it still and have mobility. It's not coming off of my belt. Sometimes I literally can't even get it off when I'm trying. So I like having that 20-degree turnable, essentially still some flappiness in there so I can turn it and eject the knife. Perfectly fit Kydex. Our plastics company is excellent. So guys, I just wanted to say, it carries nicely, it looks nice. It's a small enough package that it's not aggressive if you're out in public. Some of you don't give a shit. Like me, I'm not a very aggressive guy, so I talk loud. Anyway, make a long story short, some people really don't like to carry aggressive looking knives. Overall package with the green G10 and the spring FDE Kydex, it doesn't look that aggressive. It looks more utility, which is what it's meant to be. So, carries great, looks great, feels great. You know, some of the processes that Guy does with the G10 and what we've been doing with the micarta as well just makes it beyond comfortable. If you guys want to check out a great video on our K890 and our 5.1 NEDC4, the Magna Cut, the K890, and just an overall really great look into these knives, go over to Gabe. Go over to the Last Huntsman channel. Gabe is an old friend of mine, and he's probably one of the most clear-cut and non-biased knife reviewers I know, other than someone like Jacob Peterson or Scab or the other guys that I like watching. But yeah, the Last Huntsman channel has great reviews on our K890. I have a review out on the Scandi K890. But let's do some crazy batoning. I'm thinking, let's go down through this whole damn log. I'm here to show you just how much this knife can handle. So let's go down through it. Right on that tip, which isn't that thick. So, guys, this is a more abuse test video than anything. And this is some of the most hardcore dried wood that I've used in a while. This reminds me of Joe X. Guy's completely fine. Looking in the sunlight, that edge is still perfect as it could be. Oh man, look at that fibrous wood with those knots in it. That stuff is pretty dirty. So you know what? This piece is thinner, so I'm going to set it aside. This is still a really chunky monkey piece. Let's go down through this again, shall we? I'm going to go this way so I can hit the tip a little easier against the flat. I'm trying to bang on that very precise tip nice and hard today to show you guys that this damn thing is not breaking. I know it's not a carbon steel. It's not 3V, it's Elmax. So it's a little less overall break durable. Might not bend as much without snapping, but our Elmax is really good. And guys, you are not gonna break the tip off of this knife. Twisting it in there. Just wait till you get to the tip testing if you think this is bad, which it's not. So now this piece has 1 knot, 2 knot. Let's go down through this piece. This is a little thicker. This is more down towards the trunk of that piece. Let me see if I got something heavy enough to strike it. I hope I saved it. Let me get that bark off there. You guys know me and my videos. I like to talk while I work. And guys, this is a pushing this knife to the limit kind of video. And the best part is, I saw Gabe with my full flat do some amazing carving and feather sticks. I know a lot of people like a convex edge. I love a good secondary V edge. This stuff is dry and hard, so it's going to be a little bit of a B word to feather stick. Now guys, there's not enough weight on my baton, so I'm gonna have to strike it a few more times. Guys, I'm telling you, there is nothing that this 4-inch blade is not gonna be able to handle, especially in our Elmax. It is very sturdy. If you guys go back a while, and I'll tag it in the description, a link in the description to Guy's original Elmax testing. I know it's an older batch than what we have now, but it's some pretty crazy stuff. Now, so I can keep a hard enough baton, let's baton this damn thing straight down through this whole log. How about that? Let's do a thicker one. Let me see. Okay, this one has a little more weight. So, cross fiber, you know, straight down. Instead of coming down like this and splitting the wood, we're gonna go straight through it. So let's do this big piece here. Let me cut that vine, get it out of our way. You guys know me, I'm crazy, so I'm always talking to myself about my process. Let me get a little bit of a bigger, heavier log there. I need a better baton, guys. crap. Sometimes I know what this steel can do, but sometimes when you see that SHIT up close, man, guys, I swear in my leisure time when it's just me cussing at the radiator, but I don't like to swear on my YouTube videos, so that's why I'm always spelling out my cuss words like a goofball. It's funny when you know what this steel can do. It's another thing to actually see it. You know, when I take one that's not my personal one, so I don't care about breaking it, and I see how hard we can be on this stuff. Perfectly fine. I'm right in a point in the sunlight where I can see obviously what this edge looks like, because I can roll it right across the sun. Not one stoppage, not one blip. I should have done it before and after paper cut, but that's such an easily faked thing that sometimes I get a little weary of it. Guys, this is one of the hardest used knives that you will ever have for 4 inches, and it's slicey enough to be a camp knife. If you guys get the full flat variant, especially, again, this is the, no bending. Let me stand in front of it. This is the Saber grind. We have a full flat, which has a pin stripe up top of flat edge still, so you can grab it with a sharpening apparatus still. That's why our full flat has that very small micro flat edge up top, flat spot up top. You get all the fun of a full flat, but you can still grab it with a sharpening apparatus. Okay, so now that I gave you a close-up, we talked about a few things. Some of you might be thinking, well, how durable is the tip? This is an old dead log, and you can feel the give on the tip. You can feel it. And this is an old dead log that's about as hard as anything. That's the funniest part. If I had a lanyard on this, guys, look at that. You can even chop a little bit with this small knife. You know what I mean? So you can do a lot with it as far as chopping and still getting some hard use out of it. Totally doable. Huh. Somebody else on the trail today. So yeah, let's do some more batoning and some cross hatch batoning. Sorry for the intrusion. So, yeah, screw it. Let's baton this too. I'm gonna put some more pressure on that spine, on that tip, on the scales. Guys, this thing is a monster. Is a monster for a belt knife. I mean, it's an EDC, so it doesn't have that back hammer pommel, but it allows you just enough to where you can use that as a hammer pommel. Guys, this is an overall general use belt knife that is a frickin' savage. Just a savage. All right. Let me, okay, let's do some carving. Let's carve some stuff. I just want to show you how slicey it is, and I wanted to get that stuff off the table, the tree trunk. But guys, I'm telling you, man, this just doesn't. My job today is to show you how this is the only between $200 and $200 and then $250 knife. This is the only minimal $200 knife that you don't ever have to be afraid of just ruining by hard using. The stuff like today just shows me that I can hard use this knife for so long before I start to potentially even remotely have an issue with the edge. Guys, the edge is still so toothy. Look at that. I hope you can see that. I'm sure you can. Razor edge. Let's move on. So guys, at the end of this video, I'm going to be showing you a tabletop review, looking at the edge. You'll still see the sap and scratches on it, so you'll be able to see that it's obviously the same model here. Again, this is one of my favorites because the saber gives you just a little extra meat on the tip, but I really like the belly and the slicey profile of the full flat. My K890 full flat is my favorite belt knife ever made, even though, in my opinion, for my fat paws, I wish the handle was maybe 10 thou thicker, right? Because I just have a meaty paw, but it doesn't matter to me anyway. Like, my thing is, if the blade's that good, I will sacrifice just a little bit thin of a profile for my hand, because the blade is that good. So the full flats, mine and K890, guys, it doesn't matter what's written on the blade as long as the steel for you and your environment works just fine. We would not use a steel that is not up to par as far as rank edge retention, crazy toughness. So from the Elmax to the K890 to the M390, all of them are going to be some serious stuff. Now, so that being said, we will have some 3V and Magna Cut stuff coming out down the pipeline, and your pre-orders that are Magna Cut that haven't been switched are going to be in the steels we said they were. But I just wanted to make that known that I'm telling you, all these steels are so good. Now, what is it with me and bashing my knuckles up when I do hard use reviews? Sorry, guys. Okay, so that time I came down and hit the stump, not this, not that. Man. So guys, when we line the handles up, we're not one of those knife companies that just puts handles on. We line up the edge reflection to make sure that it's perfect. And I'm just looking at that right now using the sunlight, and the scales are still perfect. I mean, it's a lot of pressure to go on the knife. So anyway, I just want to show you guys some of how slicey this edge is still and how slicey this edge profile is. So we're going to just take some bark off of here as if you were making a meat stick for your fire and you just wanted to get some stuff off, some of the bark off. God knows we can't have any blood on YouTube. we can have young girls in bikinis running around, but we can't have a bleeding knuckle, so I got to be careful what I put on here for the community guidelines. All right, enough politics. You guys can talk about politics all you want. I don't have time for it. I got enough stuff going on in my life. So, let's look at that edge again. I wanted to get it wet with a little of that sap. So let's reassess. Guys, that tip is needle point sharp. God, man. Guys, Elmax is one of my favorite steels. I think I told a lot of you that my TRC Apocalypse in Elmax was what really got my fancy struck for the Elmax. But I think what's kept it going is Guy and his edge profiles. Guys, these are, I don't want to speak out of reality here, but I believe these are 14 thou behind the edge. Super thin. But that's the thing, guys, is the reason we do our edges, our grinds, and our edges, V-edges, a very certain way. I'm sorry, our bevels, our edges, and our overall grinding in a very, overall thickness, in a very specific manner, and the way that we do is because it gives you that blend of super slicey and being able to use it as a camp knife or a fillet knife or a hunting knife. Guys, you can buy this and hard use it as a bushcraft knife. You can buy it and use it as a camp knife for camp cooking. And the way it's laid out, I can still get a nice cut on there without hitting my knuckles, because my knuckles are still seated a little bit higher than the blade as far as the way that it's profiled out. I can still use this to cut things on a cutting board on a flat profile nicely. So you can use this as a bushcrafting knife, an everyday carry knife, a work knife. Guys, the list of stuff that you can use this knife for successfully just continues to go on and on and on. It's got the finesse, it's got the overall strength, it's got every part of what you're going to be really looking to use it for, which is whatever you want to use it for. Guys, I'm telling you, all you have to do is order one on the site, and this is technically me selling you on this knife, yes. But when I'm telling you all this back order stuff and the MagnaCut problems and everything, this is not slowing down the progress. If you guys order this exact knife or one like it and choose your variants and choose your steel and handle type and color and sheath color, if you guys purchase this on the website, when I get back to the shop, right now, I'm going back to box up orders. I'm the one that does the boxing, Ellie and I. So I'm telling you right now, if you order this on a Monday, it's going out the door in a box with your name on it Tuesday. So I just want to make that very clear. Our EDC 4s were manufactured around the backlog, in between the backlog, under and around the backlog. So it did not affect the backlog production. We have been getting a lot of work on the backlog done every week. And even if we're not to one of your models yet, that whoever's watching this video, we will get there. This is not a company that closed down and kept all your money. This is not a company that's a shell corp and we're stealing from you. This is a small Pennsylvania-based, American-made business that had a lot of issues, yes, but they brought me in and some collective other ideas in and some new processes in to change that and make that last triumph, you know, to get it done. And that's what we're doing every day. So guys, I'm gonna be doing a lot more of the social media stuff because Guy's at a point where he just has a lot of machining to get done. So I decided to take over the social media stuff so you guys can sit back, relax, watch my updates. And guys, I know that some of the email and phone stuff is very frustrating, but I promise you, if you reach out on Instagram or you reach out to me at Heavyset Tactical Instagram, I will be able to make order changes and fix some things for you and not have it be as much of a struggle for you. So I'm really sorry that we've had some struggles in the past, but guys, we're turning new leaves every day. We are turning new leaves every day, and look at how beautiful that is, man. Guys, that is a bushcraft knife right there. On top of a belt knife, on top of an EDC knife, on top of a camp kitchen knife, that is a bushcraft knife. It does everything. What's up, guys? John from Survive Knives. This is the EDC 40 that I just beat the crap out of and banged my knuckle up in the process. You can see it's still all nasty. There's where I wiped it off on my shirt to check to see if that edge was still good, which, perfect. So guys, that was enough abuse testing for you to understand that this is a very hard use knife if you wish it to be. So we're going to talk about overall specs. We're going to talk about how great this Kydex fit is. Excellent, excellent, excellent fit Kydex. It's got that injection, ejection, just like most Kydexes do not have, but they should. It should be a firm hold, guys, especially if you're using this as a processing knife for your game. If you get the full flat Elmax version is an excellent processing knife for fish and for deer, elk, whatever. This knife can handle it. Elmax can handle it. M390 can handle it. Guys, these knives are just good for everything. So we're going to talk about overall specs real quick, and then I'm just going to shut up. So, guys, this is 6.3 ounces. Very, very light. Very, very usable tool. Great fit in the hand. Got enough to cock back there with a lanyard just to have a little bit of bang, which it does have a good amount of bang. 9 inches overall from tip to tip. It has a 4-inch blade and a 5-inch handle. It is 150 thou thick, so it's 0.15 in the thickness. Canvas, linen, or G10. So canvas micarta, linen micarta, or G10 in all kinds of colors. This is our G10. It's micro textured, so it's not slick. If anything, this almost has as much grab as our micarta does. You can see the micro texturing in there that makes it, it essentially makes negative space where the lines are from the layers, so it almost looks like wood, you know, like marbling in the wood. So we have canvas, linen, and G10 in a range of colors. I'm sure you guys know from checking out the website. And then black, green, or FDE Kydex. This is spring FDE, flat dark earth Kydex. It is essentially, this is OD green, and usually we would have coyote tan, which is a really bright tan, way brighter than this, way more brown. We're out of those, but this is the FDE, which is kind of a mix between tan and green. Our OD green sheaths are significantly darker than this, just by a few shades. So it would be, you know, it would be a good mixture between this and the OD green. I really like this and the spring flat dark earth sheath here because it has a little bit of that lighter color in it. Oh man, I'm Dopplik. So I think it looks great. This is green G10 Elmax Saber Drowned with the spring flat dark earth. And then, yeah, let's talk about Elmax for a minute. So guys, Elmax, to me, compared to like M390 or Magna Cut. Okay, so for most uses, like if we're in the woods, this and Magna Cut are going to have no difference in the fact that they're both very corrosion resistant, both very rust resistant, and both very have excellent edge retention. So this knife is in Elmax. Elmax has and when I say a little less edge retention, that is that's the results of a very controlled test of just cutting. So it depends on what you're using this knife for. That's one. And two, you know, let's be honest here. If you're using it for what I used it for today, and you want a strong knife that even if you're down south in the super swampy, very humid areas, thick aired areas, you just don't want it to rust, Elmax is going to be just fine. This is not coated or patinaed or acid washed to add a variable of potential pitting or anything like that. Guys, this is a really great finish for stainless steels, and it's going to keep it great. I wanted to thrash on the Elmax so you guys could see just how ridiculous this steel is. So I saved that little note card that I had the overall specs written on because I wanted to show you. This is the edge after I beat the shit out of this thing for about an hour and 45 minutes in the woods. That's hilt to tip. Now guys, when I speak about, holy crap, all the pieces are blowing around. When I speak about edge retention, right, I need you to understand something. Because a blade says Magna Cut or says Elmax doesn't mean that it is preheat treatment is done correctly. The preheat treating protocols are done correctly. The heat treating protocols are done correctly. There are so many variables. So when you hear Elmax or see it written on a blade, it's only as good as the reputation of the steel from that company. So guys, this is some of the best Elmax, and our Magna Cut's excellent, but this is some of the best Elmax you're going to ever use. TRC Knives has great Elmax. I really enjoyed their TRC Apocalypse, and I think that either they're dead even or this is a little bit better when it comes to edge retention, but they're different edges. So edge geometry comes into play there. So they could be exactly the same. We could be a little less, could be a little more. It's a different edge profile. I don't have a small TRC Elmax knife. So that being said, guys, our steel and our protocols for treating the steel and where we have the steel treated, you are never going to be let down by the amount of edge retention. So Elmax is excellent for every need that you have in a well-rounded knife. It's not going to bend. It's not going to bend. That micro tip, as far as the very, very, very tip, is not going to break off. It's you know, if you really try hard, yeah, you can break the tip off of any knife, even MagnaCut. But I'm just saying, guys, we're going to have MagnaCut available again very soon, but I would be failing at what I'm trying to do here unless I told you that in a lot of ways Elmax is less brittle and has a little more give. So it's almost like comparing a stainless that's brittle to something like 3V. 3V rusts a little, but it has bend in it and it's very tough. It's not going to break as easy as a MagnaCut blade. This Elmax has a little more towards that 3V and carbon steel zone as far as it's nothing like a carbon steel, but it has that property of the strength, lateral strength. So guys, I really hope that you enjoyed the video. Thrashed the shit out of this thing. The edge is still flawless, and like I always say on my videos, there's a lot in the video that you didn't see. So yeah, a 30 minutes of hard use and then about another hour of shooting other scenes that I didn't put in the video because I get carried away. Then the video would be an hour and nobody would watch it. So guys, have a great day. On the site right now, we are going to be offering deals all week for these EDC4s. So guys, please enjoy. And make sure you grab one in Elmax because we have tons of them left. So guys, like I always say at the end of my videos for my channel, like always, stay safe and stay heavy.